Taiwan's welcoming map makes no sense. It starts out pretty normal. Most of North America, Europe, and Oceania are all allowed in visa-free. But then 3 random African countries show up: Eswatini, Mauritius, and Burkina Faso. Yep, Burkina Faso. I'll break it all down in a minute, but first, welcome to part 7 of exploring the Reciprocity Index. This is a ratio I made of how many countries a nation lets in visa-free with easy entry, compared to how many places their own passport can go. The higher the score, the more welcoming the country is, and the lower the score, the stricter their borders are. For anyone new here, these are welcoming maps, where green means visa-free, blue is visa on arrival, yellow is e-visa, and red means you need a visa ahead of time. First up, Israel has a reciprocity score of 0.61. They don't actually let anyone in visa-free, with every visitor needing an ETA. They only allow a single country in their region to visit, which is pretty uncommon. That country is UAE. Venezuela has a reciprocity score of 0.61. What stands out here is they're one of 13 countries to allow Iran visa-free. They also allow in Russia and Nicaragua, and those 3 make up Venezuela's closest political allies. North Macedonia has a reciprocity score of 0.62. It looks almost identical to the EU maps we covered earlier, but with one clear difference. They don't include most of Oceania, putting them 13 countries behind the rest of Europe. Costa Rica has a reciprocity score of 0.64. The most interesting part here is Africa. Costa Rica lets in 3 of the 5 African island nations visa-free: Mauritius, Seychelles, and Sao Tome. Otherwise, their map's basically unchanged in the last decade. Serbia has a reciprocity score of 0.64. Their map has a clear eastern tilt. They let in Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan visa-free, along with Venezuela. Guatemala has a reciprocity score of 0.64. Unlike most countries, Guatemala didn't change its entry rules during COVID. Most countries' welcoming scores looked like this during COVID, while Guatemala's looked like this. Taiwan has a reciprocity score of 0.65, and it's one of the few countries that uses all 3 systems: visa-free, visa on arrival, and ETA. Most of the visa-free list is made up of stable Western nations, but the visa on arrival list is odd. Countries like Burkina Faso, Mauritius, and Eswatini. Eswatini is actually the only African country to recognize Taiwan. Burkina Faso used to recognize them but doesn't currently, and Mauritius has various trade relations with them. Honduras has a reciprocity score of 0.65, and its map is basically identical to Guatemala's. The only real differences are Ecuador and Belarus, which Honduras lets in visa-free while Guatemala doesn't. El Salvador has a reciprocity score of 0.65, and just like its neighbors, the map barely changes. Same general pattern, same mix of visa-free countries. Guyana has a reciprocity score of 0.65, and it's one of the strangest maps we've seen yet. They let in most of Western Europe, places like Germany, Italy, and France, but skip over the microstates entirely, and then out of nowhere, a handful of African countries make the cut: Ghana, Botswana, Lesotho, Eswatini, and South Africa. Why those specific ones? Honestly, no idea. Next episode, I will be covering these countries, so make sure you follow so you don't miss out.